Chad and Tyrone are broke boys who eventually end up homeless. It's hard to hear it, but it's the truth. I talked about it in another video that the men that women actually love are the men who don't have a lot of money. It's the men who can't do anything for them, won't do anything for them. In fact, these women will take another man's money and spend it on these broke boys. This is just how women think. This is just how women operate. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not making this stuff up. Sometimes women will tell on themselves. And of course, there are people who will go, the simps will go, oh, that's a troll. It's not true. I made a video recently where I discussed this very same subject. And I talked about it in this video. Watch out for the economic meltdown. It's the Great Depression all over again. And I talked about this phenomenon in the video of women choosing broke boys. Okay? Broke Chads, broke Tyrones. A woman named Viral Bunny Girl responded and she left a comment. And she said, in my polite opinion, broke D, and you know what that means, is the best. But if they're not calling you back, you are disappointing. Y'all see that? Those are the men that they are attracted to. The men that don't even want them, the men that don't even like them, and the men that can't do anything for them. Men just can't seem to understand. If she has all of these demands off you, she never actually liked you. If you have to take her out on dates and court her and do all of these things, she never liked you. This is not something that just happened in our generation. We were sold a dream. It was done in the United States deliberately, as well as other Western countries, to establish stability so that men would work hard and build society. And as a result, they were sold a dream of the house, kids, and white picket fence. The men basically went to work creating all of this value, building and transforming the world around us, and they were sold a dream. And for a period of time, they were delivered that. But over time, inflation occurred. Women began entering the workforce, feminism, and all of that wealth and goodwill was taken away. It was all a dream, but you had to be asleep to believe it. And this dream is a nightmare. And while a lot of people seem to think that it's going to get better, that's not how nightmares work. I have a comment from Project Truth, and it was on another video where I also discussed the subject, same subject. And he said, brah, I thought that I was the only one that was looking into this. Sometimes Tyrone, Pookie, and Ray Ray end up being your brothers, cousins, or that one friend that you see from time to time over the years that sells people the illusion that they are doing well, when in reality, they are not, or not for long. I pointed out here that a lot of these Tyrones, sometimes you'll see like some old white guy, who's homeless. And you're like, well, how did he end up homeless? And you'll notice that he's good looking, like he was once good looking, like he's wearing a bandana, and he seems like a really chill dude, like kind of like just sitting around smoking a cigarette, right? But he's old now. He's aged a lot, and but he has like nice hair, like curly hair, and you know what I'm talking about. And you can tell, like, when he was younger, he was really handsome. So how did he end up in this shape? It's very simple. Because he was living off his looks his entire life. He was playing around. He was messing around. You see, if you spend all your time just being an F-boy, you're eventually going to become very desirable to women, because that's what you are. You're an F-boy. And those are the men that women love. Say what they want. They love these guys. The trade-off, however, is that that means that you're not developing yourself as a man. When you are developing yourself as a man, you don't have time for effery. You have work to do. Either you have a pair of work boots or dress shoes, and that's it. Chad and Tyrone, they have neither. So you'll see these older guys, and then sometimes they look really wrinkled and tired and beat up, and you're like, how did they end up like this? And they're homeless or living in extreme destitution, and it's because these guys were living off. They were basically living off, I guess you'd call it, that form of the simp economy where you had women simping for them, and they basically, spend most of their lives just living this way, going from place to place, sleeping on a woman's couch, not even on her couch, in her bed, jumping from one woman to another. And they lived like this for years. Women buying them food, feeding them. It's not there was a guy a number of years ago, and women were furious about this, who basically, he was in New York. His mother had kicked him out of her home. He was in New York because he was, dealing. She kicked him out. He was in New York. He was living on the streets in New York. And he was basically just, going home with different girls every night. He had an addiction problem. And he was making money on the streets panhandling too, because he was fairly good looking and he knew he was an F-boy. And he said something along the lines of like, he could make like, $1,000-$2,000 a week. He could, if he wanted to, he made a good amount of money just panhandling. And he was a good looking guy. And he would just basically go home with different women constantly. And that's how he would live and survive. And he would sleep on the street. And then the next minute he'd, find a woman. He said that, that he was asked, like, what determines how long you get to stay with them? And he said, well, it depends on how good I lay down the pipe. I made up a term, prosty bros. That's what these dudes are. And that's how these dudes live. But it doesn't last forever. Eventually they get old. They spent so many years just living this way that they weren't working on themselves. They weren't building skills. The best investment you can make is in yourself, building skills, learning skills, developing yourself. And I don't just mean going to the gym and lift and pumping iron. It's important to take care of yourself, take care of your body. But keep in mind, you have some guys who, they get these big physiques that they can't even maintain, because they need to like put down these many calories and all of this other crap. And these dudes aren't even that strong. It's all just literally crap. Like, for example, like you've got these big dudes, but big for what? Like, what are you doing with it? I'm being very, very serious. Like, you're not lean. Big for what? Women? Other men? You guys can't even run a 5K. You can't run a 5K. That a 5K is basically a short. It's like a mini marathon. 5 kilometer. They can't do anything. They live these lives, where they basically just F around, work out all day, drink, smoke, live off someone else's dime, have women paying for them. They don't spend money on women. Women spend money on them. What men don't understand is, if a woman, the more she likes you, the less you have to do for her. When a woman really likes you, if she doesn't have the money, she will find another man to get it from, to spend that money on you. There was a man, and some of you heard about this case, who deleted his wife, and a jury of all women in Texas basically reviewed the case and only gave him 10 years in prison, and he should be out in 5. And the reason why they did this is because they deemed it a crime of passion. The woman was cheating on him. His wife was cheating on him. Not only did she cheat on him, she did not care. She made it very clear to his face that she did not care. And she was recording it when she ended up getting Control Alt deleted. And the thing is, she stole it was like $120,000 from him and gave it to this other man. $120,000. She stole $120,000 from him and gave it to this other man. And there's some of you will go, well, it was his fault for not letting her have access to his bank account. Do you guys see the reality? How we suffer as men? We're screwed either way. We're damned if we do. We're damned if we don't. And then you wonder why things happen. And an all-women jury basically said that, yeah, this was a crime of passion. We're only going to give him 10 years and he'll be out in 5. That's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. But if Sims were, I'll tell you right now, if there were Sims on that jury, he would probably have gotten life or the lethal, you know what. If men are when you're a man and you're developing yourself, you don't have time for effery. You don't have time for the streets. You don't have time for street behavior, low value behavior that women are attracted to. You can see the comment that I showed you guys. I showed you guys that earlier, how women actually think. And the more that you pay, the more that she makes you pay for it, the less she actually likes you.
I wanted to take you on a first date. Would Pizza Hut be okay?
It depends.
What would it depend on?
How much I liked you. It would depend.
So for the guys who you like the least amount, where would you want them to take you?
Like a 5-star steakhouse.
And the guys you like the most, where would you go with them?
I would probably expect less, just because I like them.
But why make the man that you like the least amount invest more up front than the guys who you're more attracted to?
Because he's got to work for it. Since I like him the least amount, he's got to work for it. At least I'm giving him a chance.
You're the prize in a relationship.
Duh. Exactly. Exactly. Why wouldn't we be?
But the more attractive guy, he's a prize to you.
Not really. They're never a prize. No. I believe the woman's always a prize. Man should work for a woman.
And what should a woman do for a man?
Oh, that's a good...
See that? But the truth of the matter is that the reality is they won't admit it, but Chad and Tyrone are the prize. Because Chad and Tyrone, they get everything for free. If she says that he has to take, if she likes the guy less, he has to pay more. So he needs to take her to a 5-star steakhouse so that she's going to eat, and she's going to eat well. Right off the bat, if she's going to a 5-star steakhouse, there is 0 chance, let me repeat, 0 chance that he's going to be physically intimate, that they're going to have anything to do, that she's going to do anything after that, because she's going to be stuffed. She's going to have digestion issues. Okay? She has no intention whatsoever of anything. Men are so foolish. Like think about it very carefully, bro. If you're going out and you stuff yourself full on a meal, your stomach is going to hurt afterwards, right? You don't want to go back. You don't want to go home and, be intimate. So think about it logically. If she's stuffing her face with food, there's nothing that's going to happen. A lot of men, unfortunately, they can't wake up and realize that she never loved you. The more she demands from you, the less she actually likes you. It's a sad reality. But the truth is that when you look at Chad and Tyrone, the lives that they end up living are the lives that ultimately lead to destitution later on, because they don't develop themselves as men. So they end up homeless, they end up broke, they end up destitute. Guys, a lot of the men who are attacking the Passport Kings, the Tyrones, the Pookies, the Ray Rays that are attacking the Passport Kings, most of these guys are broke boys. Some of these guys are homeless men that have been homeless for years. I'm not making this up. And they're going after the Passport Kings, but they've been homeless for years. Why are y'all so angry? Why are you depolicing? It's because now all the focus is ending up back on them. Because these men don't take care of their kids. Chad and Tyrone, they litter the world with kids. They make single moms, and then another man has to step in and take care of those kids. And as a result of that, because another man is now doing this, these men aren't stupid. They know what they're doing. When another man steps in and has to come and clean up this mess, trying to chase these Chads and Tyrones down, it doesn't even make sense. And keep in mind, you have to remember, these women, they love these men. They love Chad. They love Tyrone. Which is another reason why you don't get mixed up with a single mom. Because these single moms, even though they'll marry some other dude, they're still being physically intimate with Chad and Tyrone on the side, because those are the men that they love. There was a judge a retired judge who discovered that after 48 years of marriage, none of his children were his own. Not one. On the part of his wife, that was 100% deliberate. I've read stories where women have literally said that they'll marry a guy whom they say they believe will be a good father, but he's not fit to pass on his genes. So they'll get married, and then they will get pregnant by the men whom they want to have children by the Chads, by the Tyrones, whom they believe have the better genes, and then they'll allow this other man to raise those children, never knowing that the children are not biologically his. But they don't see anything wrong with this, because he's getting his wish. He gets to be a father now and raise children. Everyone's happy. This is the way women think. And a lot of men, they can't. It took me time to adjust to this and to understand that men and women don't think the same. The way that we think, guys, I describe it as functional insanity at best. Women operate on feelings, all right? So think about this. At their center, they use feelings to reason. So ultimately, their logic is based around how they feel. Men typically use facts to reason, hence their logic is typically based around facts. Now, don't get me wrong, it could be vice versa, but typically that's how men draw conclusions and make decisions versus how women draw conclusions and make decisions. This is not to say that women cannot make decisions using facts when they have to, but the fact remains that at their core, they're always going to use feelings to reason, and that's hence how they apply logic. Guys, what do you guys think on this? Don't forget, I have another channel called Angry where I discuss gaming, anime, geek stuff, nerd stuff, real world stuff, and whatever else interests me. There's a link to it in the description of the video. Go check it out, subscribe to my channel, support my work. And on top of that, I also have another channel called Men Walking Away, where I release multiple new videos a day. I drop new videos a day, every day on the Men Walking Away channel. If you're enjoying the content on the Angry Guy channel, you want even more of these videos, you can head over to Men Walking Away. I release new videos on Men Walking Away every day, and it's linked in the description of the video. What do you guys think regarding this? Do you agree with this? Have you personally observed this? Chad and Tyrone are broke boys who eventually end up homeless. Let me know your thoughts on this, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, Men Walking Away, and cheers.